GM. GM. So, today is Monday. We started off the week with a little bit of blood. So, let this be reminder number 3 probably. I think we've had 3 flushes. This is going to happen a lot in the next couple of years. This is what happens in bull markets where leverage gets too high, alts go crazy. But specifically, what I mentioned in trading analysis, which was we do a false breakout, then you should be on high alert on Bitcoin. Watch how price action develops over the weekend. If Bitcoin ranges underneath resistance and alts go crazy, the next pullback could be a nice one. That is exactly what we saw. And that doesn't make me Nostradamus. This just happens quite frequently in bull markets. So I'll just put, total 3 probably had a divergence. Look here, hollow candles, hide the drawings, hide all. There we are. So here we have Bitcoin, false breakout on Friday evening, right? At the same time, alts are here. Alts continue to run while Bitcoin ranges beneath resistance after sweeping out resistance. Alts then push up again for a double top, and then we flush. But the reset so far is very, very healthy. This is as close to a bullish shakeout as you can get. So what you need to be on the lookout for, and I said a 10% dip on Bitcoin. I think I said it would be less than 10%. So from top to bottom, I think we went just over 10.24. Sorry, not fully accurate. Reason being is that Bitcoin is bullish, right? Here's the chart looking at the path we were following over the weekend. So as I see it, this is our interim support, 42 down to 41.5. We smashed down through it because of leverage, but the bounce was strong. It held, it retested down into here. This looks like solid support to me. I think Bitcoin either pushes up into this resistance soon, which I expect it to, and then consolidates before running towards the CME gap, or comes back down and ranges and chops around here. So it can also follow a path a bit like this, where it sort of does the sideways thing that it's been doing, and then up. You're most likely going to see one of those. I think it's more bullish shakeout. You had some really good weekly closes on alts, and then a big flush at the start of the week. And I think the market is still bullish, still in buy the dip mode, still, and when I say buy the dip mode, once people get sufficiently wrecked, it's buy the dip. Now, some stuff still has high funding, but the funding has been greatly reduced on most of these. Bitcoin funding went back to neutral, and I look specifically on Bybit, where I trade, and most of them are back to neutral. I'm sure funding rates are still elevated across some of them, but if you look at Bybit and Binance, it's gone from current 0.159 to predicted 0.01. That's good. That means that the next funding period is lower than what price currently is, than what funding currently is. Same on BitMEX, reset. Binance, reset. Huobi, reset. So Kraken's still elevated. Okay, cool. But Kraken's not really much of a player. And so when you look at them actually OI weighted, we are below neutral. Super important. So I've had students ask me about funding rate. You have to be mindful. If you look at Bitcoin, for example, and you see the funding rate is 0.0112, that's just all of these added up and divided by however many there are. But you want to weight it by open interest. So you go in here, aggregate type, average OI weighted. that puts more weight on the bigger exchanges, the ones that have greater open interest. Because Kraken is not equivalent to Binance. Binance's volumes are fucking 100 times greater. Open interest 100 times higher. So you shouldn't calculate and weight Kraken as being the same as Binance. Yeah. So Bitcoin's actually gone below neutral. And the alt market, same. ETH pushing towards neutral. Solana has reset on some exchanges. Bybit's still elevated. And I want to compare a couple of the shakeouts that we've had. We've had two of note. Global funding rate. And that predicted one. And then we'll look at open interest, global, and open interest just on Bitcoin. Exclude Bitcoin from these. So what we're looking at here is the following. So we've got Bitcoin OI, Bitcoin funding rate, altcoin OI, altcoin funding rate. So what I'm looking at here is a couple of these shakeouts that we've had. We had the first one, which was November 9th. We then had another one, which was, it was mostly on alts. So we can't even see it on BTC. If we go and check some alts. Here it was. 4th of December. When Bitcoin barely sneezed. Yeah, over here. Right, and then we've had this morning. So this was a bullish shakeout for alts, if you remember. A lot of them ripped to new highs. The market kept going up. This was less immediately bullish. This one was bullish for Bitcoin. And then alts actually kept lagging. I think this one's more likely to be bullish for alts, given the structure and the nature and the fact that, you know, you've got ones like ARB, and ARB is following much closer to its November 9th rather than its 4th of December. So 4th of December, big initial bounce, then it weakened off into a consolidation and it rejected the support, or rejected the SR flip the first time, right? This one still has room to go up, but more importantly, if you go back to the November one, it's holding up more like that right now, and I think even a little bit healthier, because since then, remember, this was ARB on a straight upslope. Since then, it's had a lengthy consolidation with multiple tests, right? Building a base, testing range high, testing range low. I'm not saying ARB has to like moon from here, but ARB certainly looks decent. And I'm going to do a little comparison of ARB and Solana that I showed to the masterclass students on Trade of the Day. So keep an eye out for Trade of the Day. So nice flush of leverage, bringing leverage back down to healthier levels, right? If you're looking at the slope, the trend of leverage, it builds up. As price builds up, it then gets wiped. It starts to build up again, got to new extremes, got wiped. It's resetting back to higher levels. That makes sense, right? You don't want to see leverage or you don't want to see open interest on a consistent decline, because that would indicate that, money's exiting the system. But when it gets overheated, you expect to see some profit taking, right? Smart money's going to take profit, dumb money's going to get liquidated. That cycle will repeat over and over and over again. Now, funding rates have dropped off on Bitcoin nicely. So back on our first flush, where was it? It's all the way over here, sorry. Yeah, funding was actually at a higher level back then. So Bitcoin is almost 10k higher, 9k higher in price. Yet funding is back at neutral levels after a leverage flush. Open interest is reset to higher levels. Good. Doesn't mean that people are exiting the market en masse. So all the hallmarks of a shakeout are present here. As for alts, we saw there from the nice little consolidation where positions were building, alts just started to ramp up, right? As Bitcoin false breakout, alts went on a big divergence, meaning open interest rose significantly while Bitcoin didn't, meaning alts were leading, and it's just wiped all of that. So whatever positions have built up in this area have been wiped back. Funding has reset again, all the way back to neutral as a whole across alts. I mean, that's just mega bullish. Now, it doesn't mean price goes up only from here. Some alts will bounce particularly hard. I like Solana, Celestia, AVAX. So if you're watching them here, you want to see Solana's probably weaker than some of the other ones in terms of how it's consolidating at this level. But I expect them all to form bases. So Sol has already ran up and rejected its underside retest. So you want to look at where's the strong support below for Solana. And the most recent support is around there, right? These levels that we broke out from. So it's possible Solana might lag and have to make its way down, reaccumulate before going. That's if we go into a consolidated phase and we don't pump right off from here. We've got Celestia, which is strong, right? Celestia has been on a tear. It had a nice trend line breakout last night. People got trapped into that, got flushed out. Reversing now, and it's building up much stronger. So if you compare it to like Solana, right? Celestia has flipped the old resistance into support here, clearing above these levels if it starts to push. It's looking much more set for a move, right? So Sol is weak compared to that. Injective, strong. So Injective had the best weekly close of any, right? If I get here, Injective had an amazing weekly close and a big shakeout to start the week. Touch the daily, touch the weekly. Wow. Wow. Really? That's not right. Surely not. Can't believe that. I can't believe it touched the weekly band. That is... Oh, that was last week. No. Yeah, sorry. I thought it went to the weekly band today. No, that was back on... Yeah, God. I was like, there's no way Injective's gone to the weekly EMA band today. These white candles are confusing me. So, Injective, mega bullish. I think Injective probably goes a lot higher. This is just a brutal shakeout after a lovely weekly close, taking out all the leverage. I think this is just one that's going higher. Now, it is practically just vertical, so it depends where it goes to next, right? These, you know, it won't just go like this. It won't just go straight up. And it didn't set a nice base, like I'd mentioned. I talked about this the other day. When you have false breakouts, you want to see it fall back inside, set a base, set a trap. People think it's false breakout. Injective was so bullish it did the opposite. It just accumulated really quick, blasted out. Flush down, so you know that anyone who chased that long has got wrecked. So I expect new highs from here. It's after that. So once these start making new highs, then I start to look at it, right? It's a bit like Arbitrum was back